And the thing is, because I can't see, I wrote in three South Africans around the table next to me to explain, the TV commentary is not quite radio commentary. It's not, the guys, it's not hand on ball all the time. So these three South Africans had complete different interpretations of the rules, of what the ref is doing. So I was trying to watch three games at the same time, but at least we won, even though we won 1 point. So it was pretty amazing. At the age of 5, my parents made the big decision to send me off to blind school in Worcester. Now, the thing is, at home, of course, I could find my way easily around to the kitchen, to the bedroom, and there I was at boarding house, completely lost. And I think the one thing, and I was quite terrified, because it's the complete unknown. And what freaked me out more was all of a sudden I realized these blind kids are walking around making funny noises. One would click his tongue and one would slap with his hand on his thigh. And I actually phoned my mum and I said, is this a school for blind children or mad children? Why are they making these noises? And soon I realized if I don't click my tongue whilst walking down the passage, all these blind buggers kept walking into me. So I started making some noises to avoid them. But yeah, it was rather traumatic, but obviously, and I guess what for me, as a 5-year-old, every night lying on my pillow, crying myself to sleep, wanting to go back home to my parents. And I guess the thing that stopped the tears every night was the fact in my 5-year-old brain, I believed that the reason my parents sent me to the school is they're going to teach me how to see. I was about to have my first interview when I bumped into a blind friend of mine. It was actually not too difficult because he didn't see me coming, of course. And he's like, hi, and I'm okay. He said, well, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm like, buddy, I've never seen you before, but I'm also all right. So we started talking, and then he told me there's this guy who wants to cross the Atlantic with 2 blind guys on a yacht. The only guy that me and the other blind guy could eventually convince to, sail with us to Rio was a deaf guy. And I maintain the fact that he didn't listen to our questions. That's why he agreed. But anyways, so there I'm on the yacht, halfway to Rio, 1,000 nautical miles from the nearest piece of land, 4 kilometers of water underneath me. And something in my head just switched and said, well, if I can bring myself to this point, I can take myself absolutely anywhere. So yeah, just as that went on to many adventures, from breaking the world blind land speed record, driving a car at over 300 kilometers an hour. The Blind Cricket World Cup was an amazing event. I went on to cycle the Absa Cape Epic on a tandem, and it's one other thing me and Corneille has in common. Doing Ironman and doing a lot of extreme adventures. But I guess at the end of the day, all of these things, my single greatest achievement to date has got nothing to do with any of these. My single greatest achievement is accepting my blindness unconditionally. It was when I did that, it opened a world to me that I didn't even know existed. So I often also get asked the question, if I could see tomorrow and the technology evolves to the point where, guaranteed, go for an operation, write a big check, and tomorrow you can see. I would not take it, because it took me such a long time to get used to to who I am, to what I stand for, to be at peace with me, my world, my values. And I wouldn't want to change that for anything, not even for the ability to see. When I started transitioning from being mad at the world, or basically just being blind, to being now blinded by possibilities. Because my Monica just said, when we had the conversation, I said, well, if our kids are blind, who would be a better role model? But lo and behold, she was born, her eyes were perfectly fine. But on her second birthday, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And I tell you, it was the most traumatic time. I mean, it was, I can't even in words, for 6 months after her diagnosis, I couldn't even say the word leukemia without completely falling apart. I think the last count in treatment was around 20 million rand, worth of treatment. And the Swedish government didn't ask us for 1 cent. So, if that is, do you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say, if that's this reality, imagine one could have a similar reality for all South Africans in South Africa. South Africa naturally is actually a very rich country on so many levels, from minerals all the way through, including culture. So, yeah, I mean, but that to me, pardon the pun, was certainly an eye opener. No, it just shows you what is possible, And I think as Africans living abroad, and I know that's your mission as well, is, how do we take and continue to take the experience that we gain, take it back and continue to help, grow our country and make our country, meaning South Africa, better. And even in every little small way that we can do so.